Yesterday, we talked about how Baylor was on a steady decline under Dave Aranda. The same can be said for Arkansas under Sam Pittman. The Razorbacks went from 9-4 in 2021 to 7-6 in 2022 to an abysmal 4-8 in 2023. Many fans did not want Sam Pittman to return to Fayetteville in 2024. But here he is. He's still the head hog. But the only way he can ensure that he keeps his job into next year is by getting Arkansas to a bowl game. And that is a lot easier said than done with the schedule that Arkansas is going to be up against this season. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert, guys. We're so glad you could join us today to break down the Arkansas Razorback schedule for this upcoming college football season. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our website, thegridironexpert.com. Tons of exclusive content over there to help you get through this offseason. We do not want you to miss out on it, guys. We want you to become a member of our GE Nation. So check it out. Everything down there is for you. And here in just a few months, we're going to begin prediction season, predicting every single game for every single college football team. All the more reason to subscribe to our channel. All the more reason to hit that notification button. We're the only channel in the country that's going to be predicting every single team. Do not miss out on it. We want you to be a part of it. We want you to take part in all the college football content we have coming your way from now through the end of the year. So let's take a look at Arkansas, guys. This is a really intriguing team to me. It's a shame to see this program struggling as much as they are. We kind of had these sky-high expectations after their 9-win season in 2021. Sam Pittman failed to deliver in 2022. Season kind of got derailed when they lost to Texas A&M. Last year, the offense was atrocious with Dan Enos. They fired him mid-season, and then they bring in Bobby Petrino. That's one of the most intriguing storylines of all of college football for me. Bobby Petrino, the former head coach at Arkansas from 2008 to 2011, is now returning to Fayetteville, this time as the offensive coordinator. He brings in a transfer quarterback in Taylon Green because their star quarterback, KJ Jefferson, transferred out to UCF. The defense really wasn't all that bad last year, but there's a lot of new pieces on both sides of the ball for the Razorbacks, and they're now going up against one of the most difficult schedules in the entire country. And I understand that's life in the SEC. That is life in the SEC. But this is a brutal schedule for an Arkansas team that's trying so hard just to get to 6 wins. Look, the Razorbacks aren't SEC title contenders. The Razorbacks aren't playoff contenders. The Razorbacks aren't a team that's going to go out and win 8, 9, 10 games. It's not going to happen. A successful season for Arkansas is going to be getting to a bowl game, winning 6, maybe 7 games if they're lucky. And you look at what they're up against, it's a very hard task. The first thing that stands out to me, honestly, is how good the home slate is. The games are tough, but at least they're getting the tough games at home. Arkansas gets to host Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, and Texas. All those teams have to come to Fayetteville, so that's massive for Arkansas. It might not mean much. The Razorbacks are just 15-11 at home under Sam Pittman, with 8 of those 15 wins coming against non-Power 5 programs, but still, getting them at home in front of their home crowd is really big. But you're going to kind of know what this Arkansas team's made of within the first 4 games of the year. Really, I think after the second game of the year, you're going to know. They probably should dispatch UAPB, but then when they go to Oklahoma State in week 2, how Arkansas looks in that game will kind of determine and shape the outcome of the rest of the season. They're going on the road to Stillwater to take on the Big 12 runner-up, who's loaded with talent on both sides of the ball, has one of the best players in the country returning, and their running back, Ollie Gordon. This is an Oklahoma State team that defensively needs to improve drastically, so maybe Bobby Petrino's offense can exploit that a little bit, but playing in a very hostile environment in the second game of the year with so many key new pieces, that's going to be very telling for Arkansas. If they win this game, maybe they exceed expectations. If they look good in a loss, I'm not a guy that's going to be there for moral victories, but if they put up a very good fight against Oklahoma State, maybe there's reason for optimism the rest of the way. If they get absolutely annihilated in Stillwater, it could end up being a very long season. That Oklahoma State game for me is going to be very telling. It's a really intriguing non-conference game. You get past UAB, then you get into conference play. Auburn, A&M, Tennessee in those first 3 games of SEC play. They lost to Auburn by 38 last year. The game was over within the first 5 minutes when Auburn jumped out to a 14-0 lead. The Razorbacks were lifeless in that game. They got A&M in Arlington. They lost 34-22 against the Aggies last year. And as you know, the Aggies, they have Arkansas's number. Ever since A&M joined the SEC, they have owned Arkansas. Same can be said for Missouri. They have owned Arkansas since the Tigers joined the SEC. So can Arkansas win on the Plains? Can Arkansas get a win over A&M? I know they beat them a few years ago back in 2021, but that was really it. And then Tennessee, who has very high and lofty expectations, going to have one of the better offenses in the country. Can Arkansas slow them down in Fayetteville after back-to-back very rigorous, tough games away from home? One on the road, one on a neutral site. So you're looking at this, guys. The first 6 games of the season for Arkansas, you might say they beat UAPB, you might say they beat UAB. I mean, we're not predicting games here, but more than likely they're going to win those games, right? That's 2 wins. If I'm Arkansas, getting to 3-3 before the bye week would be massive. That's a win for me. If I'm Arkansas, if I'm 3-3 or better, that's big. That 3-3 would really only require them to win one of Oklahoma State, Auburn, A&M, or Tennessee. If they can just win one of those games and be at 500 at the bye week, I think that's good. Because you've got Louisiana Tech later on the schedule. In theory, that would be a 4th win, possibly. That means you'd only have to win 2 more games the rest of the way. And that's where the key stretch comes in. Right after the bye week, LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss. Big games for the Razorbacks, especially if they are 3-3 or 4-2 coming out of that first bye week. And I know what you're thinking, right? You know, Arkansas can't contend with LSU. They can't contend with Ole Miss with the talent those 2 teams bring back this year. But the funny thing about Arkansas is that you go back, look at it historically. Even when Arkansas has been at the lowest, they, for some reason, always compete well against their rivals. Last year, Arkansas was terrible. They nearly beat LSU in Death Valley. Only lost to the Tigers 34-31. Maybe would have won that game had Sam Pittman had better time management. Ole Miss and Arkansas, always a very close game. Even last year, the Razorbacks went to Oxford, down on their luck, were just absolutely abysmal. Were leading in the 4th quarter before losing 27-20. And then Mississippi State, yes, it's in Starkville, but the Bulldogs have a brand new head coach. They're going to be going through a lot of changes. Arkansas and the Bulldogs played one of the worst games in all of college football last year, a 7-3 victory for Mississippi State in Fayetteville. But that is a winnable game. That's a toss-up game, I think, for both of these programs, Arkansas and Mississippi State. So that 3-game stretch, 2 of which come at home, and LSU and Ole Miss, is so big for the Razorbacks. So big. Because if they can win one of those home games, and if they maybe pull off the win on the road at Mississippi State, which is not entirely far-fetched, then I think they could get to a bowl game. Because if you somehow won 2 in that stretch, if you had 3 in the first 6 games, you got Louisiana Tech on November 23rd, that's 6 wins. And again, we're not predicting games right now, but there is a path. It's just very difficult. But the season, to me, you're going to know what Arkansas is going to look like. You're going to kind of have an idea of the direction of the season after their game against Oklahoma State. It will really take form and take shape after that 3-game stretch from October 19th through November 2nd. And then coming out of the bye week, 2 of their final 3 games are at home. One against the Louisiana Tech, as we mentioned. Another against their big-time rival in Texas, who has playoff aspirations. They made it last year. A very heavy favorite to do it again this year in their first year in the SEC. Going to be interesting to see how Arkansas handles that game. They destroyed the Longhorns back in 2021 in Fayetteville. Will history repeat itself this year with the Razorbacks off their week of rest? And they go on the road to Missouri, another playoff team, another potential playoff team, where Arkansas lost to 48-14 in Fayetteville last year. Again, the Tigers have owned the Razorbacks, and if you're predicting games, we're not, but it's one of those things where you really can't pick A&M to lose to Arkansas. You really can't pick Missouri to lose to Arkansas until you see it happen. Like, you know, almost until you see it happen consistently. Until you see Arkansas beat these teams consistently, it's hard to pick them to do it. And again, we're not predicting games now, but that's the fact of the matter. And quite frankly, Missouri right now is much better on paper than Arkansas across the board. So you look at this Razorbacks team, guys, there's so many questions. Petrino back on the sidelines. The defense better than people realized last year. Sam Pittman may be fighting for his job. Tons of new pieces, a new energy, a fantastic home slate. Again, Arkansas is not some dark horse that's going to surprise anybody this year. They're not some team that's going to shock the country, but getting to a bowl game would be considered a massive success for the Razorbacks. Is there a path? Yes. Can they do it? That remains to be seen, but you'll know pretty early on. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our website, thegridironexpert.com. Again, we're predicting every single team's record starting here in just a few months. Do not miss out on that. We'll have more news as we get closer, but all the more reason to subscribe. Hit that notification button so you don't miss out on your favorite team's prediction. Do not miss out. Become a member of our GE Nation. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.
Yeah.